Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be watching from. Happy Friday here on the East Coast, here in the States. It's been a good week. What are we up? Almost up to 70 degrees today here in the Midwest. It's crazy. If you're just tuning in, tell us where you're tuning in from. We got lots of exciting stuff today. A hot, spicy topic. But I wanted to make sure everybody can hear me, see me okay. Give me a thumbs up in the chat. Let me know you're here. Excited to have this topic come up. And just get our comments working today. Yes, if you're just joining us, say what's up in the chat. We'll make sure the chat's coming in. Yep, and chat is coming in. So we are good. Sweet. All righty. 3 weeks in a row, we've made it on our jam sessions, but I figured we'd pick a topic this week. We would talk about it and also show you what is coming up next. Because I'm excited about where we're at in this industry. I'm excited that we finally have a successor to WordPress. I know I put that topic up. I've been designing websites since 1995, so I've been around this game quite a bit. I've seen all of the progressions, changes, all that good fun stuff over the last 30 years. Been in tech. Like I said, my first website went live in 1995, so I don't even remember what I used to develop that on. But Lynn, good to have you with us today. But yes, if you're just joining us, say what's up in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Glad to have you, Lynn. But I've been doing this for a while. I started working with Joomla. If anybody has been around that long, that was kind of a pain in the butt. Designed for that for years. And really just, I have fits with that. I set up quite a few membership sites for associations to be able to manage their memberships, to be able to keep track of renewals, all that fun stuff. And that was a lot of work. But I added that to my managed service offering, and I'm still surprised to see today that a lot of managed service providers steer clear of website hosting, website development, website tech support. I dove in head first. For me, I was getting a lot of that, hey, it's on the computer, you're the computer guy, so you must know how to fix it. So anybody heard that one before? Like I said, if you're watching this on the replay, drop the comments in there because those still do come through. I respond to every one of those comments. But yes, if you've been around that long, been designing, been in marketing, drop that in the comments for me. Let me know how long you've been in the marketing space. But mine comes from a duality, if you will. So I come from a tech background, really fell in love with marketing towards the end of my my last venture in 2014. I sold my MSP, but I really started to become a student of marketing a few years prior to that. So I joined some groups where I could really learn how to do the marketing thing. Because as a tech person, I really didn't get the marketing stuff. And for me, it was a challenge making that leap from the creative side to the tech side. It's kind of two different sides of the brain. But anyway, I digress. So I've seen the progression go through the tech industry. I've seen a lot of things happen. But I want to know from you, if you have a WordPress website, what's your number one frustration with WordPress? Drop that in the chat for me. So like I said, I want to have this discussion and really paint the picture as to why I think there's going to be a change in the guard. It's already happening, but why I think 2026 is going to be a massive change in the guard when it comes to our websites. So let's face it, do a little bit of back history. I've told you a little bit about me, but let's talk about WordPress, the journey of WordPress, and my honest opinion why I think it's time for WordPress to go away. WordPress was built in 2003 for bloggers. I remember being one of the early adopters building on WordPress, had a blog for my last tech business. Then it just kind of rapidly grew from there. It was never really built to run full business websites. Like that's really wasn't the premise of WordPress, but it grew by accumulation. People started having plugins bolted on. Then people started creating themes. And before you know it, things kind of got complex in a hurry. Then we had the hidden tax. Then you had hosting. You had to pay for plugins. You had to pay annual maintenance on those plugins. You had to pay developers' time and developers' fee, plus your team's time to figure it all out. I know a lot of developers kind of built the website, handed it off to staff and said, here you go. But just think about that cost. Think about the cost that you have for hosting, for plugins, developer fees, your team's time. All of that is costing us money every single month. And if you're joining me and you're, like I said, you're watching this on the replay, chances are you probably have a WordPress website. But I'm going to ask you a question here. How many plugins are currently installed on your website? I'm going to give a few minutes to let that stew up in chat if you happen to be watching this live. But how many WordPress plugins are on your site right now? If you had to guess, drop that in the chat for me. Let me know, because I think it'll surprise you. We're actually going to show what I think is coming next. I'll show you how I've built our site and redeveloped our site off of WordPress, what's capable right now, completely free of WordPress. But I know it's Friday afternoon. Everybody's just coming back from lunch if you're here on the East Coast. But like I said, if you happen to be watching this on a replay, whether that's YouTube or LinkedIn, drop it in the comments, because I want to know truly how many people have. I'm going to show you my previous site, one of my previous sites that I had, how many plugins are available. But as with anything, what tended to happen with those plugins, that a developer or WordPress would update and then the plugin would break. Or the plugin would never get updated for several years. Then we had a plugin graveyard inside of WordPress. And most of these plugins exist usually because they're built to solve one feature. And unfortunately, that's no longer true, where we have to rely on a developer or a plugin creator to do that. Now, what I'm going to talk about right now, you may have heard the term. I'm just going to put a blanket term on what is happening right now, what has been happening, started in 2025. What I'm talking about is vibe coding. Everybody's into AI. I could talk AI to death, but let's talk about what is actually happening behind the scenes with coding tools, with AI, with the iterations that are going on right now. Right now, you have the ability that if you have something in your head, you have the ability to describe what you want, and AI builds it, you refine it, and you ship it. So that old model that required lots of translation, where you had the idea as the founder, you handed it off to the developer, and then it was close but no cigar, and then you go back and forth, and they have to interpret, and then you build and revise, the bill goes up. Your website that you were promised takes a month, now 2, 3, 4 months. I've heard that story many, many times. So what we're experiencing right now is vibe coding. I'm going to put a blanket term on that. Vibe coding collapses that gap. And most IT folks already have the skill. And I think that's where that transition to bringing things more in-house, we have that capability now. So I've done enough talking what I think is, what I know is going to happen. Like, mark my words, by the end of this year, I think we will see a groundswell migration off of WordPress as the basis for our websites. And why do I say this? I rebuilt my entire site completely off of WordPress, or completely free of WordPress, not on WordPress. So what you see here, none of this was developed on WordPress. So all of the menu systems that I had on my old site, mega menus, things like that, this was all built with AI tools. We use a tool called Replit to be able to do that. So what would have taken me hours and weeks and iterations and going back and forth with a developer took me about a week to really fine tune what I'm going to show you here. So things like this. So if you happen to be joining, go to orangenomad.com. I'm going to pop this in the chat for everybody. If you want to see what our live working website looks like without WordPress. But this right here, I developed an assessment right inside WordPress, which would have taken me another plugin. I would have had to do maintenance on it. I would have had to figure out how to use it. I would have figured out how do I customize the colors? How do I get it exactly the way that I want? But this assessment tool took me 15 minutes. Took me 15 minutes to put together. So I've got the questions. How often do you feel overwhelmed by your daily to-do list? If you know me, I'm all about calm. So I can scroll through and it gives you down here, all of this was created in 15 minutes. So, okay, well, I'm going to give myself a 3 there. How much of your business relies on you personally to function? So you go from everything depends on me to the business runs without me. So let's just go 5 in the middle. How organized are your standard operating procedures? So do you have SOPs? Is everything fully documented? So most folks are probably here. You've thought about documenting things, but it keeps falling to the bottom of the priority list. All right, so I'm going to give myself a 2 there. Move on to the next one. I've only got 7 questions here. How effectively does your team operate without your direct involvement? From can't function without me to fully autonomous. I think most people are probably here in a 3. You've delegated some stuff, but you end up redoing most of them because they're not done right, or they're not done the way that you would do it. How consistent and predictable is your month-to-month revenue? Most MSPs are pretty good, but I think we're probably right here. We're probably a 3. Our revenue depends on landing deals every month. You lose one big client and it's panic mode. So that's probably a pretty safe bet for most MSPs out there. So we go to the next one. How well do your marketing and sales processes run on autopilot? Everything's manual to fully automated. I think most people were probably here. You've got some templates, but there's no system pulling in leads while you sleep. So go to the next one. How often do you feel in control of your work-life balance? Let's see here. Most people are probably here. You need boundaries, but you can't figure out where to draw them without things falling apart. So let's go to the next one. Let's just give ourselves some extra credit here. You've tried setting up limits, no laptop at the table maybe, but guilt creeps in when you're not working. So let's just go there. So now it actually gives me a score. So it tells me what my chaos level is, from total meltdown all the way to a calm CEO. So everything that you see here was developed in 15 minutes, no plugins. Just a backstory, I am not a coder. I hate writing and typing code. So that's why when WordPress came along and we had website builders like Elementor and that kind of stuff, I'm a visual builder. I know what I want. I know what I want it to do. We now have a tool that does that. So right here gives me my score. And guess what? If I'm in marketing, I don't need another plugin here to create the form for me to get this report via email. So I'm going to go ahead and type right in here. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to use my burner Gmail address. So now if I click send, that report actually got sent to my inbox. So think about what you can do as far as lead generation, creating value for people without them having to interact from you. So things are out there that allow you to do this, but again, it's another fee, it's another subscription, it's somebody else designing things. It's not exactly the way you want it because everybody's creating for the masses. Everybody's creating, website builders so that any company could build it. But if I'm a tech provider or I'm in a specialty industry, I don't want a one-size-fits-all solution, but I don't want to pay thousands of dollars to have it done. So right here, That form and everything was built in 15 minutes, including the integration with my email provider to be able to send that email off. I also have here, I can go ahead and retake the assessment, but from here I can also book a strategy call. And look here, we have a beautiful form. I am a nerd for forms and what the look and feel is for forms. And I gotta tell you, I've seen some pretty ugly forms out there, and I've used plugins and tried to do CSS and do all of that to make it look the way that I want. I always get close, but no cigar. But this created the exact style of form that I like. Just think about that. Exactly in a one shot, I told it, build me a book a strategy session form that people could fill out. Make it simple, but provide a little bit of detail. So as you can see here, full name, email, phone, company. Again, I'm probably going to pare this back if I'm just doing it for lead generation, but I want to help people out with projects like this, be able to convert from WordPress, get off of that 2003 infrastructure and that reliance on WordPress and plugins and developers. And you got to hope and pray when you hit update all that you just didn't break your world. So right here, project type, everything is fully customizable, exactly what I want, with my secondary branding color for the selection. So all of that is built in 15 minutes. I can request a strategy session call. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. So that's just one thing that probably would have taken me hours to try to figure out how to build this in Elementor in WordPress, or buy another plugin that is made for everybody that doesn't really do what I want it to do. And I've got to try to figure out how to make it look the way that I want. So that's just one thing. So as I scroll down through here, again, this look, feel, style might not be you, but this is exactly what I wanted. It's the style that I wanted. Everything fits the way that I wanted. And the other thing here that used to drive me nuts, this right here, having a dark mode, I am a dark mode. So if you're watching this, let's do a quick chat. Are you a dark mode or light mode person? Because I went through this. I paid for a WordPress plugin to take my old site and change it to dark mode. And it was close, but not quite. But I paid $50 a year to a developer of that plugin so that I could take my old WordPress site and make it dark mode for modern people like me. So I can turn this straight to light mode. And guess what? All my forms automatically change to light mode as well. So with one click of a button, everything turns from light mode to dark mode. Everything looks exactly the way I want it. And the other caveat here is I didn't have to create a separate development. So in Elementor, we had, okay, you build it for the desktop and then it fits, everything fits. And then you switch over to mobile mode and then everything's all jacked up. Then you spend hours trying to get everything lined up so that everything looks good on mobile, everything looks good on desktop, and God forbid you flip your iPad sideways and pray that everything comes out all right. So anyway, so Carl, thanks for joining in. He is light mode. So we got team light mode here. So we got the Star Wars thing here. We got light side and dark side. So anyway, so as you scroll through here, you know, again, I built exactly what I wanted in less than a week. Everything fits exactly what I wanted everything to do. Now I'm going to go here. So I created this menu here with the mega menu. You can create mega menus, as many as you want in here. Didn't need a plugin to do that. Made it look exactly the way that I want. So yeah, so this is what Tech Bra, thank you for chiming in. So yes, WordPress is actually stronger than ever. Yes, you can connect codecs, host files, SSH, let codecs go, get to work. Yes, that might. But I think WordPress gets extremely bloated when you start adding plugins in there. It slows down. We're all going for reach. We're all going for AI search. We all want to be found. But I have typically found the more plugins you add to WordPress, the slower it gets. And again, it's the mental band make things faster for development side if you're a coder. But I think end of the day, I as a founder want control of my website don't want to have to worry about plugin nightmares. I don't want to have to worry about only one person knows how to code my website. Like, that's what I don't want. And I don't want to learn how to code if I'm a founder. I don't want somebody on my team, because again, what happens if they leave? Then you don't know what happened. You don't know how stuff got built. So yes, I've been pro WordPress for a long time. I'm strongly moving away from it. I'm going to show you in a second why I think. Let's just give you a for instance here. So I benchmarked my website with GT metrics. If your site loads less than if it takes 2.5 milliseconds or more to load, chances are people are going to keep scrolling. So I was hardly ever able to do this with WordPress, no matter how clean I can make the code, no matter, you're relying on so many things with this score, and a lot of it was WordPress plugins. But again, this is what you're looking for. This is why I think the cleaner sites built with cleaner code, with schema markup that doesn't require yet another plugin with WordPress. So this is why I think WordPress, like, it's hard to benchmark. Like, I've tried, I work a lot with MSPs. It's really hard to get a benchmark this high with typical WordPress websites. I know it's possible. I know I'm probably going to argue with the tech folks and developer folks out there. But again, I want my site to be fast. I want to manage it. I want the capability of doing things without relying on somebody else. So let me show you here. So I've got my podcast. So I host my podcast with Riverside. So I actually set it up with Riverside so that it automatically pulls in all my podcast episodes as they go live each week. I had Replit connect Riverside with my site to be able to do that in less than 5 minutes. No plugin required. So that was huge to me. Huge time saver. Yes, you can embed from Apple Podcasts, Spotify, but I hated the players. I hated what the players look like. So, like this right here, the player runs right here. Like, I like this look. I like this look and feel. And that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to look aesthetic with my website. And again, if I go over here, light mode or dark mode, it looks good. So those of you who are light mode, dark mode. The other thing I did with my main website, the only thing I did on a regular basis was update podcast, update blog. So I now have a full blogging platform built straight into my site without WordPress, without plugins. And I'm going to show you a few things that I added in as well that used to take me hours and hours and flipping back through yet another tool and another plugin to be able to accomplish some of the things that I wanted it to. So yes, so this is like this right here. I built it. I was like, all right, it'd be neat if I had a table of contents so people wouldn't have to scroll all the way down. They could go straight to the part on the page that they wanted to. So I built in a collapsible table of contents at the top. So again, everything is aesthetic the way that I wanted it. Like it's the little things. Like this bar, this progress bar was a plugin that I had for WordPress to be able to make it scroll to the top or scroll side to side to let me know how much further I had to read. Because I'm just ADHD like that. But again, all of this built. All of the share button tools here at the bottom were all built. Like everything was built the way that I wanted it to look, to feel. and have everything be as automatic as possible, just like we did with WordPress. So I'm going to go through here. I'm going to show you my admin dashboard. So I've got a secure admin dashboard. Don't at me because everything's out. Like I'm going for functionality right now. I'm going to go back through and make aesthetics later. But a few things that I use on a regular basis for my WordPress site. So I do a lot with affiliates, so recommending software, things like that. I had a plugin called Redirection for WordPress. So I was able to pull in all of my redirections for my affiliate links straight into a dashboard that I'm able to control. So again, forms, functionality, everything looks exactly the way that I want it to. Blog post editor. So I've got a full blog post editor straight inside of my site. No WordPress plugin. Everything looks exactly the way that I want it. I can set up, I can pin to the top. So if you go to the blog, so now when I post, actually let's just make this one. We'll pin this one straight to the top. So now when I go back to blog, it pins it to the top of my blog. So I built a full editor inside of here so that I can edit my websites. So all of this in one clean interface. This was the other thing that I made. So the rich text editor here, I wanted it to pin it to the top. Like I hated that sometimes with WordPress. And then sometimes I don't want to keep going back and forth. So I was like, all right. So I made one that's more inline, like you see in Notion, you see in ClickUp, some other more modern text builders. So I can categorize everything. I can set the publish date. I can pin it to the top right when I publish it. And the other thing, UTM links. That was the other thing that used to take me hours. So I'll show you how I made that inside here as well. So from the blog post, I have a UTM builder. If you don't know what that is, that's the ability to be able to have to be able to track where people are clicking back to. So that, like if you want to post on LinkedIn, you know that clicks to your website came from LinkedIn, Facebook, different types of things. So I can actually have campaigns, campaign groups, all of that created right into here. And then all I do is copy and paste. There's my new UTM link built right inside WordPress. Not WordPress, built right inside my site without WordPress. So my UTM builder here, again, allows me to do all of that. I can set presets. I can make presets for LinkedIn social, my newsletter, LinkedIn article. That speeds the process up whenever I'm building UTM links. So all of that built right inside here. So all of the tracking, I can look and verify that the tracking is done. See how many campaigns I run, how many links to those tracking links. So all of that built right inside of a very fast, clean editing environment. So question here on LinkedIn. So it was Theodore. Looks like it didn't pull in your name. Have you tried any CMS or framework other than WordPress? Yes, I've tried quite a few. I've highlighted one of WordPress's weaknesses. Let me put that back up there. You highlighted one of WordPress's weaknesses. All plugins are loaded on every page, regardless of whether they're there to function on a page. Not all CMS engines are built like that. I agree with you. There's others out there. A lot of enterprise tools allow you to do things, but I think the vast majority of people out there with WordPress sites are reliant on that, who don't have the ability to do things like I just showed you. So the UTM builder would have been another tool that they had to go into. Like if you can name, Theodore, you might be, since you're a PHP developer, you might know, like, are there other CMSs out there that have those functions built in without having to have somebody with development skills like yourself? So again, I just want to paint the picture of where I'm going as a founder and where I think, those people who are relying heavily on WordPress plugins And if you're a developer like Theodore, I'm showing you where people like myself as founders are looking for things that allow us to work better with you, that allow you to have more unique skills inside the people that you help too. So I want to point out things that were a frustration to me as a business owner for decades, without getting into complex CMS systems. Yes, there are quite a few others, but I think most people are going to go by whatever's the cheapest. And let's face it, WordPress is pretty much very inexpensive to get started. But again, it's to be able to do the things that you wanted to do. Like for me, I don't need 50,000 things that come inside of WordPress for my site. Like I want to be able to manage blog posts, manage my podcast. My next thing is my live streams. So that's going to go on here as well. So I created my podcast editor. So that was the other thing that I did. So it's able to, I can click sync from Riverside if I want, but I have that automatically pull in on Thursdays, 11 a.m. whenever I generate podcast episodes. But the other thing I did is I have the ability to link my podcast episodes to a blog post. So let me go back here to my blog and show you a for instance of that. Like this right here is a blog post, but that podcast episode straight inside of my blog post. So if somebody reaches the blog post and they said, oh, maybe I just want to listen to this one. So they have the ability to listen to the whole podcast, again, with a very clean editor that I didn't take me hours of development time to put this in here. I just said, hey, it would be great if I was able to embed a podcast at the top. So let me go back to my blog posts. So I'll show you how I did that. So I said, okay, I want to be able to add that blog post straight, or that podcast episode straight from my blog post. So I said, okay, make it a drop-down field where I can select any of the podcast episodes that are in the library right now. And then it automatically puts that podcast episode in the blog post with that player built right in. Like to me, that would have taken me hours and hours and hours to try to figure out how to do, if it was even possible. I tried to do this with the theme builder that I had with WordPress, which was Pixfort. I'll show you a couple things here with Pixfort. They were probably the cleanest editor that I was able to generate with WordPress. I liked the look and feel. So Chris said, let's see here, pop this up on here. Chris said, apologies, I missed the first part. What did you use to create your site? It looks great. So I'm going to show you right now. You didn't miss the good parts. So this site was 100% created with Replit. That has been my go-to tool. So as I, getting network or Orange Nomad started, I'm also doing software development. So I've created Orange Labs specifically to do development using Replit. These guys have been amazing to work with. Again, this is a whole completely different site, but I was able to create this using the same theming, but I didn't need all the stuff in here. Like I don't have podcasts on here yet, but I was able to create all of this, again, using the same look and feel, getting exactly what I wanted out of that. So like contact page, I was messing with that. I love the contact page and making it look like you're coding. So you might appreciate this, Theodore. I love contact forms. I'm like a super nerd for forms. So I like aesthetically pleasing forms. It's our branding. It's part of your branding. So I've seen some really ugly forms come out of high level. I'm gonna go high level. Used ActiveCampaign. I've used Infusionsoft. I've used Keep. I've used HubSpot. Used all of those, but getting forms and embedding forms from those tools onto your website is it's an ugly process. And not all people on your staff are going to have the capability. They just copy and paste the code, whatever it looks like in HubSpot, that goes on your website. To me, it's branding. We take a hit on our branding if you don't have those things like really dialed in. So let me flip over here so I can show you We're actually going to create a site live here, Chris, so you didn't miss anything. But I wanted to kind of point out like where most people are at, where I was at developing WordPress since, early 2000s. So again, I went from the light side to dark side. So if you're just joining us, are you a light side or dark side fan? So Carl's light. So you might appreciate this one, Carl. But this was all built in WordPress. I'm going to, this was my old site for my Team Orange community, which we're going to be relaunching. Again, it took me a long time to get the site to look this way. It took me hours and hours and hours to be able to build it in such a way where it was close to the way I wanted it. And again, I think I put this site went live back in like during COVID. It's probably like 2021. But it's built with WordPress. It was meant to be a membership site, so had a bunch of plugins. So when you logged in, you could go to a dashboard. This is where I would do my membership. So people could watch courses in here, do training, have discussion groups, all that fun stuff. But it was a nightmare to try to get all of this up and running and to maintain it. Like, it was a pain in the butt to maintain. So let me go show you, for instance, here. So I'm going to go to here and go to plugins. So I'm going to show you what a typical WordPress website for me. I had 55 plugins to make this thing work. And a lot of them had to do with WooCommerce. Like, again, there was the WooCommerce plugin is free, but then you had to create it in such a way where it matched the look and feel of your website, because out of the box, WooCommerce stuff is pretty ugly, in my humble opinion. But yes, Buddy Boss would update their platform. WooCommerce would update. So I had to have a CAPTCHA in there for my tools, or for my forms. I've got the CAPTCHA built into the code of the forms. Haven't had a single spam fill of any of my forms. Duplicate menu. So I wanted to duplicate a menu item. It's not built into WordPress. Had to have a plugin to do that. Elementor. So there's Elementor Base. You needed Elementor Pro to be able to do some of the things. And I think that Elementor Pro, let's just see if it'll tell me the price. Last time I checked it, like I want to say it was a couple $100 a year. So let's just look. So this is Page Builder. So I like Elementor, got nothing against them. So if you're building for yourself, so $14 a month. So I think I was on, trying to think of which one we had. So let's just say you go here, it's, $84 a year for, I think I was on the Pro plan. They don't even have that anymore. Yeah, so if you're building, so I think we were on either expert or agency because we created sites for other people. So it's $204 a year. I feel like we were somewhere in between there. But again, it's a WordPress builder, had to have that plugin. So if I go down here, again, it's compatibility alerts, to be able to embed PDFs in my training documents. Had to have a YouTube or a plugin to do that. A plugin to be able to embed my YouTube live streams into my site. Facebook for WooCommerce. GamiPress was their gamification tool built in there. Google Analytics, you had to Google Analytics for WordPress, Google Analytics for WooCommerce. I feel like that might have been an extra pay. LearnDash in order to build my courses into my site. Mailgun to be able to send emails. Like, it just was a bear. Like, look at all of these. Redirection, again, my plugin. Smart offers, that was the other thing that drove me nuts. If I wanted the ability to have packages in WooCommerce, to be able to package one thing and have it come with another. Again, another plugin I had to buy. Like, all of these plugins, a backup plugin, e-commerce plugin, WP Fusion in order to get my WordPress website to be able to talk to Infusionsoft or Go High Level, or to talk to someplace else. I had to have a plugin to do that. I feel like that one was a couple $100 a year. Yeah, so $297 a year for that. Yeah, there was a light version, but a lot of it didn't. Yeah, automated user imports. You know, it was just a lot. Again, it's another plugin. It's another vendor. It's another thing I got to manage. It's another security vector for my website, for my business. Offload media in order to send that over to AWS. And like, it's just all of these. And this was in a month. Just in the past month, I have 36 plugin updates that I have to do for this website. And if you've ever done this guy right here, where you select all, so actually we'll go here. If you've ever done select all and update plugins, then you have sleepless nights because something inevitably breaks in this cluster mess of plugin updates. Then you spend days and hours trying to figure out and then restoring from backups and just all of that. Like that's the stuff I'm talking about that used to drive me crazy. So I was able to build this whole thing in less than a week right inside of Replit. So just to give you a for instance here, I'm actually in the process right now of recreating this whole Team Orange site. So I'll give you a free glance into here. This is what my new Team Orange site is going to look like. And it has a full LMS system built into it. So you can watch videos, you can go through here, you can do so many different things right from one dashboard. You can join cohorts. Like it's mind blowing what you're able to accomplish that would have taken me a long time to take this and turn it into this for my members. It's just crazy. So anyway, so let's do some building. So Chris came. Anybody else want to do some building? I'm going to take a quick drink right now. Do a quick refresh to make sure we didn't drop the stream. Anybody else want to see? Let's do some live building. I'll show you how easy this is to do. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use Pixfort as an example. So, you know, they have got some really clean designs for WordPress. And again, keep in mind, we're just going to do some testing. I'm going to build out my fictitious Vandelay MSP. If anybody is a Seinfeld fan, drop that in the comments for me. But yes, I have created Art Vandelay is going to run an MSP/AI integration. So I want to build a website for my new Vandelay Industries. So I could buy this template from Pixfort, love the look and feel of it, do all of that, then spend the next, you know, two to 3 weeks messing around with it. So Elston's, he had a PBX fire. I know how that goes, man. He's a dark mode as well. So I love dark mode. So it's a Star Wars thing, I think, light mode and dark mode. So let's join the dark side. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this link and I'm going to show you how fast we can actually get a site up and running. So I'm going to switch over to Replit. So this is the Replit interface. I've got two different modes. You can go straight from build mode, but I'm just going to go to design mode from right now. And let's say create a new website for my company, Vandelay MSP. I want the UI to be clean and have light mode and dark mode. Use this website for inspiration. And again, just gives it some place to get started. So I paste that in. You look down here, I can tell Replit to take a screenshot of that website. I can have it get the content of the website to be able to fill in, to stub out all the sections for me. And I can have it extract the branding from that website. So give it a few minutes to do, a few seconds to do that. Perfect. So now it's pulled into the brand identity. So again, very basic prompt. Create a new website for my company, Vandelay MSP. I want the UI to be clean and have a light mode, dark mode. Use this website for inspiration. And let's let it create. Elston said, I'm suspicious of Carl light mode people are part of conspiracy theory I'm working on. It's funny because it's like a Windows Mac for people who are light mode, dark mode. So Graham, did I see WordPress in the title? Yes, the site I'm pulling from was a WordPress site. So we're going to let this create. So Elston, to let you know, I'm building this in Replit. So this is where the conversation we're having today. This is why I think that WordPress's days are numbered. Because like this technology is available. We vibe coded our entire website. So it's going through and setting this up. I'm setting up a sleek high contrast design system for Vandelay MSP with light mode, dark mode, utilizing a vibrant green accent, deep dark backgrounds inspired by the provided branding. So it's going to configure the routing, typography, animations, and generate some custom visuals to bring the UI to life. So Chris, to answer your question, I usually self-host in WordPress. Yes, everything can be hosted straight inside of Replit. That's why I love it. Okay, so it's generated I'm getting there. So it's building me a nice draft. I knew the light mode, dark mode thing would probably get people. I'm convinced light mode users stare directly at the sun for fun. So, okay. So I've got this zoomed in pretty good. So that's why it's, the other thing I haven't even mentioned is, I think I may have mentioned it, but it actually customizes your site and shrinks your site down for mobile automatically without any edits. That's why this UI looks so big, because I've got it zoomed in for your sake. So if I come over here and zoom out, where am I at? So that's probably 100%. So here you go. That actually, again, we're just in design mode right now. Like I haven't even started building anything. Not bad. Not bad for that. So what I'm going to go back. Just going to paste this in here real quick. So I'm going to make a few edits. So I just took a screenshot of that. I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to ask it, can you add this gradient background? So I'm going to paste that screenshot in there. Let that go. So there we go. There's a few tools that switched to Laravel 2 years ago. Never looked back. And LLMs are amazing in building Laravel apps. Like, yeah, it's just mind-blowing what you can create. And again, Replit's not the only tool out there. This just happens to be the one that I like and that has been the easiest to use. Let's see, who was that? Yes, this will be available to watch later as soon as the live stream goes off air on LinkedIn and YouTube. You'll be able to watch that. So let me go refresh my stream real quick to see who commented on that one. So that was Theodore. Sorry. Yes, Theodore. Yeah, feel free to watch this afterward. As soon as it goes off air, you can watch the replay. So, all right. So here, there's my gradient background. I didn't have to go figure out how to make it look that way. So not a bad design. So if I come in here, it's still building, so we'll let it finish. So there we go. So there's even the hover animations look good. Like when I hover over these, it gives me that subtle animation. Not bad. But like even this graphic right here, it made this graphic for me. Like it's insane. So looks like it's still working in the background. Still working on a couple things. So, but yeah, it's just amazing to me, like how quickly you can create this. So yeah, not a super fan of that domed look. We'll see if it fixes it. But again, what's amazing to me is I haven't even told it I don't like that yet. So I think it's just adjusting the gradient background. Graham said I'm exclusively Claude Code. So let me make this a little bigger. Claude Code, so not familiar with Replit. Why do you like it over other tools? I'm not a coding interface person, Graham. I'm a visual builder. So like I messed around with Claude Code. I messed around with Cursor. So if you're into the code part of it, I think you knock yourself out, but I'm not. Like I hated PowerShell. I hated command line stuff. It just wasn't my cup of tea when I was in IT. So to me, having this Replit interface was just simpler. Like it's just simpler for my brain to handle. And I'm going to show you too, when we go in here and build, I can switch. Again, we're in design mode right now. So I'm just getting the look and feel. I have not designed any functionality whatsoever as we're building this. That has taken a little longer because we're live streaming through here as well. But again, it's creating all of the files that I need to generate this. So we'll let that work. Great question, Chris. How do the credits work on Replit? So I'm going to let this finish building, and then I'm going to hover over and show you how many credits that I used just to build this. So once it's done, I can actually hover over and it'll tell you how many credits you used, like what was the cost to build this. All right. I've updated the background of the hero section to include the deep sweeping green. Not horrible. So let's go here. So let me just show you here. So to answer Chris's question, let me zoom in so you can see it. 97 cents. It cost me 97 cents to generate this, what I have so far. There's dark mode. There's semi-light mode, so it didn't go all the way light mode. Let me zoom back out. Like, not horrible. So if I'm trying to get to version 1 recreate of my site, not bad. So I'm gonna come down here too. There was something. Yeah, so let's do this. I'm gonna see if I can have it recreate these pricing tables. So I'm gonna take a screenshot of that. Create pricing table section like this one. That's not bad. I mean, I'm not a super fan of the gradient, but I could go back and edit it. Like, I could have it keep working on that if I wanted to, but again, I'm going to get to version 1 of the aesthetics. Right now, if you're just joining us, say what's up in the chat. We're creating a pricing section for our new Vandelay MSP website. Ah, you got a sneak peek out of it. Not bad. And I'll see how much that cost me to make. But yeah, if that was the other thing. Forms and pricing tables were the other thing. It's like it looks like it is kind of matching that striped vibe. It fixed it, so wasn't a super fan of the stripes. Yeah, I just noticed that the hero image. Manage your infrastructure without the headline. Vandelay MSP gives you everything you need. Oh, it's wiped out. Gives you everything you need to maintain secure, fast, reliable IT systems that scale seamlessly with your growing business. Like, I haven't even given it any content yet. I just told it I'm an MSP. So again, the context that knows what an MSP is. There's my pricing tables. So that's the other thing that's built into this as well is checkpoints. So these are little backup points. So if I didn't like that, I could roll it back. So I could scroll back up here and roll back to that checkpoint. But let's just see here what that made. So it worked for 2 minutes. So that cost me 38 cents in credits to have it make these pricing tables. So, like, not bad to go from design mode. Like, right there, I think we've been on creating this less than 15 minutes. Like, that's not a bad version 1 of my site. I kind of like this footer better, so I'm gonna say. Make the footer look like this. So those of you might be watching this that are not builders, not creators, like I know there's a lot of marketing folks are probably going to watch this because I got a lot of attention when I posted that headline. But this is why I think WordPress's days are numbered when it comes to this for most businesses out there. Most businesses out there have the marketing person is usually the one that is having to manage the website. And like, they're not coders. Like they're not usually technical people. They get marketing. They get that part of what their job is. And most of them don't have design capability to come in here and edit a website, let alone mess with, troubleshoot, and try to figure out WordPress plugins. And even MSPs, like I probably did some coaching with a couple hundred MSPs. And I'll be honest with you, 98% of them, when I help them with their marketing side and we go to start building stuff in websites, in their website, that's usually what I see. I see plugins that haven't been updated in months. I see like just a lot of things. And that's usually what it is. They're not marketing people. They don't want to mess around with the website stuff. So anyway. So, okay. So it added that footer. So let's go take a look at the new footer. So yeah, like that a lot better. Site looks much closer to the inspiration now. Let me know if there's anything you want. Let's see how long that costs. 42 cents. 42 cents for it to have redesigned the footer for me. Like that's not bad at all. So now up here, the app is in design mode. So I could actually click and convert that to a fully functional application if I wanted. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. So I'm going to take it from design mode into app mode. And again, you could start straight here if you've got a project resource document or you have your branding, your colors, all that dialed in. You could just feed that into the design editor of the app mode. So I'm going to go ahead and create this because yeah, so we'll let that create. So those of you who are tuning in too, so like this site right here is created on Replit. It's hosted on Replit. So I'll let that do its thinking. My main website is built and hosted on Replit. But again, it's just amazing what you're able to build like very quickly and get exactly what you want. Again, just blown away. I'm redoing our whole design portal. So I'll show you that. So it's going through, checking things, doing a dashboard, taking that dashboard mock-up. It's wiring up the full stack application. I'll just zoom in. Server infrastructure is ready. It's a marketing website. There's no need for a database. Content is static. I just need to make sure everything is properly wired, the theme provider, the routing. I'll show you a few things once that gets done creating as well. But yeah, any questions? If you're watching the stream on YouTube or LinkedIn, drop that in the chat. Happy to answer questions while we're here. But I figured in an hour-ish live stream, we'd go ahead and create a website. I created the whole branding. Vandal MSP is going to be green and black. Again, some of the stuff's messed up because I'm zoomed in so far. So keep that in mind if you're watching this on the replay. I'm zoomed in pretty far so you could see this. So it's adding all the meta tags in there. All right, so website's fully set up with the backend server running. So let me zoom out. Actually, let's just go into a new tab. We'll see what this looks like in a new tab. So it's going to tell you when you're viewing up here, you're on a development. So let's close that. So there we go. So what I'm going to do, so it's dropped down. So this is one page. It's automatically created when I click on pricing and features. It scrolls up to that part in this one page website. So get in touch. So here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go back in here. So let's go back in here. And I'm going to have, so create a popover with a form for the get in touch button. It should match the branding we have. Okay. So I'm going to have it create a form for me. So it's going ahead and creating that for me. Like if you've got a current site, like if you're a current MSP, you could have it pull in all the content from your current site as well. You notice at the beginning, if you are watching this, how I had it just grab inspiration from a different site. You could actually put your website in there so it can pull your branding and everything if you have that on your current site, and pull that automatically in and create all the pages for you as well. Since we're creating from scratch, we're creating Vandelay MSP from thin air today. I had it just go ahead and, get me started on what this looks like. If you're just joining us, it's working on creating a contact form for the get in touch button. So, all right, so I'm going to go back here, do a quick refresh. Look at that. Like that. I don't know about you. That's beautiful. Like it matches the aesthetic exactly of what I'm going for. Simple pop-up form. Like that's just nuts. So there you go. Just like that, there is and again, I could connect it to whatever email provider that I have. You could connect this to a CRM if you wanted to. That's kind of my next venture. I'm going to see how easy it is to connect into Infusionsoft, and Go High Level is my next one. So I'm a huge Go High Level CRM. So again, I haven't even told it to connect this to Go High Level. I could tell it when the form fills out, have it go into High Level. Like I haven't even got that far yet. So when I click pricing, so it drops down here to the pricing page. So there we go. A nice one-page website that gets me where I want to go. Let's see what that one cost to build out the form. $1.16 to have it build that awesome looking form for me. Like that's just, man. Let's just see if I go. All right, so there's light mode. So those of you who are light mode, so I'm going to have it edit pricing tables. So again, like these are just little things. So I'm just going to take a screenshot. Actually, you know what? Let me just, okay, I turned off, the dark mode plugin I have for Safari. So I'm going to say, hey, this doesn't look right in light mode. There we go. So I'm going to have it automatically just go ahead and fix. Again, I don't need to know like all the technical stuff. See, as you see in here. So some of the stuff is hard coded in there. So it knows, all right, if stuff is hard coded, it knows to change it. Like if I'm not somebody like Theodore, who's a PHP developer who knows how to do all this stuff, like I wouldn't know where to start. And a lot of page builders like Elementor, like each one of those elements is a different thing and it can have its own styling. Like you can get super complicated very fast using some WordPress builders. And I just described in very simple words, this doesn't look right in light mode. That's all I told it. Didn't tell it what to do. We'll see how well it does. But here's the thing I want to also point out. Like we have not given it any context whatsoever of Vandelay MSP. Like it doesn't know, other than it knows that it's an MSP, and automatically, like I didn't tell it an MSP is IT management. Like it's just the power of the things that it knows. So let's just do a refresh. Scroll back down here. All right, that's better. Like that looks better. Like just everything. Yeah. So there's my one-page website. One-page website, light mode, dark mode, even threw in a graphic. Like that's not on like we gave it some visualization, but like, yeah, I'm not a super fan of, like, I think that my pricing tables look better than that. Like I could have it do that if I wanted to. See what they're getting. Yeah, so their get in touch pops up down here at the bottom right. But yeah, so basically I could go through and have it create individual pages that look like that. Again, just throwing inspiration at it. I can take my website, Vandelay MSP, from nothing into something today. Yeah, so to publish that, I could go up here, I could hit publish right there. And it would actually create. So I'm going to go ahead and hit publish. You can name it. Here's the domain. And you can also add in your own domain as well when you go to publish. So it will publish, it will give you this, and then you add in your domain, your custom domain, and then it'll give you the DNS records that you need to go, like for me, to add to Cloudflare. So there were two DNS records. I think one was an A record. The other one was either a TXT or a CNAME file. So two files I had to add to Cloudflare, and boom, I've got my own website. But I'm going to go ahead and publish this. So I could publish it, and this would be a live website. Vandelay-website.replit.app. So like I said, if I was done, this was version 1, I could literally click publish today and have a working prototype website up and running. And we did that in, I'll have to go back and check the recording, but less than 30 minutes. Like less than 30 minutes, I took from 0 to a version 1 prototype of my new website. How did it do? I want to get your grade if you're watching this, if you're watching it live or on the replay. Elston says, I love this. I'm also doing some work in Framer. Yeah, I tried Framer. I tried Webflow. Did some stuff with Figma. I know Figma does. I think they do Figma sites now, so you can design stuff in Figma and have it create the site. Like, there's just so many different tools. But like this one gets me from start to finish way faster. That's why I've settled on this. And like, to me, it just does a fantastic job of doing this. So I'm going to flip over so I can show you that. I'm going to turn on the other app so I can show you some of the stuff that we did in our, like, I'm going to show you how complex you can get with it. Like, that was just a basic one-page site. Absolutely no WordPress whatsoever. Yeah, and as you can see right here, that is a live site. So let me just do a quick refresh. So the other thing it can do is it can build the landing page for you. It can do pop-ups like this. So this is a prototype we were building for my Team Orange. So we're going to have cohorts. So you could actually click right here and join. So this is a landing page that I built for our Team Orange, for our Building Calm cohort. Again, no design skills. I just had to create the content based upon my framework. So basically I plugged in a few details. Here's my framework. Here's what we're teaching inside the framework. Create a landing page where people could sign up to join our 5-week cohort. So it even created the pricing blocks, everything on there. Like, it even did an ROI calculator. So I think I've got that turned. Yeah, so basically then it connects into Go High Level, which connects to Stripe. So that's my next phase, is I'm going to take it so that I don't need to use these pop-up forms. I'm going to have it integrated. But again, this is just version 1. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in, show you what you're capable of building inside of a non-WordPress site. Like, this is all built in Replit. So when you log into our dashboard, it shows you your chaos level over time, how many hours you've reclaimed, and it's pulling that data from other parts of the system, the platform that we built. Again, full learning management system built in. So you could go over here and, you could watch the videos if you want prior to our cohort sessions. It tells you here's the 5 things you needed to do. It gives you the resources needed for that. And you can actually take notes. So all of my people inside of Team Orange can take and save notes straight inside of the system as well, to be able to come back and reference. So here we've got quick wins. So you could log a quick win. Here's our resource library. So again, like, all of this was built without WordPress. So I have it a full cohort management. So when we have our cohorts running, you can see the overview. You can see where you're at. You could submit the missions that we have per week. You can do daily check-ins. Again, it does the whole gamification is built right in there. So you can collect badges. We have a leaderboard. Here's your mission library. You can connect with other members. So I built a chat function straight inside of this dashboard. No WordPress, no third-party plugins, no third-party vendors. All of this is built straight inside of this dashboard. So all of that, recordings, you can watch the recordings of the sessions through weeks 1 through 5. You can join future cohorts. And again, those are blocked. So you won't be able to do check-ins and things till the next cohort launches. But all of that built straight inside of a system that doesn't require plugins, did not require a engineering degree, did not require code development. Like, it just, all of that built right in. And so this is how all of the stuff for the dashboard is built in. So as you enter it, again, the same slider I have on my homepage, you can track your chaos level per week, wins per week, challenges, reflections, submit your check-in for the week. Like, all of that in there. The other thing I built in is if you have other people inside of your company that you want to go through this system and teach them how to be calm, I built in the functionality to be able to do that. So you can manage people inside of your own company You can invite people inside of your own company to join the dashboard as well. Again, full administration, like everything here was built. So this is the back-end administration. You wouldn't normally see this if you're a user, but everything that I built for the cohorts is set up in here. Like I built integration so I can connect Zoom straight in here. So I can actually schedule meetings right inside here. They will create the meetings inside of Zoom. If I edit them on Zoom or edit them here, it updates on Zoom. Like that integration would have taken me weeks to figure out. But this is the level of stuff that you can do without WordPress. Like this would have taken me so many plugins. I can't even imagine how many plugins it would have taken me to create this, and I still probably wouldn't get the look and feel that I wanted. But think about that. So we've got an onboarding sequence. So when a new user comes on board, I can create a customized onboarding sequence for them. I can preview what that looks like. So let's go ahead and preview what that looks like. So I'm going to do cohort mode. Benchmark where they're at when they start. Get their time commitment, how much they're able to commit to time to making that change. Again, it builds them a customized onboarding per person, all built into the system. I can do chat moderation. I can have announcements through the system. Like everything here, you can submit tickets straight through the system. Like it's just it's mind blowing what you can do. So this is why I say WordPress's days are numbered. Honestly, for me as a company, I'm moving my last website. I've submitted the domain transfer out of SiteGround to Cloudflare for the domain because we had that listed. I've been a SiteGround. I don't need my SiteGround account anymore. So I think about what I was able to save this year. I probably have saved, gotta add all those plugins, probably $2,000 to $3,000 a year in plugin costs, support costs, vendor costs, hosting, all of that I was able to save and build. And like early estimates of what this is going to cost on Replit is probably $20 a month, $25 a month. And that includes me continuing to iterate and build on the system. So that's why I really think, you know, if you're thinking of building, and again, I don't like creating chaos for chaos's sake. So if you've got a WordPress site, I'm not saying go blow it up, go tell your developer that they're fired. That's not what I'm saying here. But start with, start planning the exit. Because that's, I'm gonna go back to over here. So if you joined us late, a couple of the things that I showed at the first part of it. So we built the site. Now let's talk about the performance side of the site. So I benchmarked my website yesterday, got an A on GT metrics. Here's page speed insights. So let me zoom in there. So again, benchmark, almost, 90s on everything. And then the other thing I didn't even talk about is new AI search optimization. That functionality is built into the website as well. I don't have to do schema markup. That is actually built into my new website. So it pulls the schema that AI search bots are looking for. So think, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, all of those are categorizing your site, and it's using the schema markup metadata without getting too nerdy on you. So it's pointing out, it's able to quickly identify who the organization is and look what the offers, what things we offer, what we do for what the business is all about. All of our website URLs are categorized and the people attached. So it's able to make all those connections for AI search optimization. So all of that is built in. Yes, you can do that with Yoast SEO and you can have yet another plugin that you've got to manage to do all of that. But my site creates all of this for me automatically. Every time I create a page, every time I go in and create a blog post, it's automatically doing all of those things for me. So that's a common objection that I think a lot of people have is, what about SEO? It's built in, like without the bloatware that comes along with WordPress. So you don't have to be technical to know how to do this. Like, you saw how simple it was for me to get this site up and running for Vandelay MSP. So we created a working site in less than 30 minutes. It's a working prototype. And again, you might think that's ugly. I've seen a lot uglier websites than that, especially in the tech industry. So just start having that conversation. Think about every hour that you're managing all of these tools, every hour that you have to spend trying to figure out your website. WordPress, like we're beyond, the end of WordPress. Like, I think this to me marks the end of WordPress once people really start figuring the stuff out. I'm all about, building calm, burying chaos. For me, this solves so many problems moving all my sites off of WordPress. And I'm happy to say we'll have the last one off of there. My wife's site will be off of there. Her photography business will be off of WordPress. And I've shown her some of this. Like, she's amazed. She hated it too, because every time she would have to go update a photo library, there's a plugin or a vendor. So like, it was a pain in the butt. And you just get tired of dealing with all of those chaotic things that go along with WordPress. So hopefully this was helpful. That's my rant, hour and 90-minute rant on a Friday afternoon. But I think this is the future. Like, this is the next iteration of business websites, but thinking outside of what's been around since 2003, which is WordPress. The next iteration, again, insert your own tool there, whether it's Claude Code, whether it's Cursor, whether it's Figma. Like, everybody's building tools to give this ability for people to be able to have they're democratizing code. People are able to build this. I built this, and if I had zero coding ability, I could have created exactly what we did today in 30 minutes. I know how to take screenshots to give it inspiration. I haven't even started the content side of things, building this site out. So again, if this was helpful, give me a thumbs up. If you're watching this on the replay, I know some folks over in Australia, it's 2 a.m. Speaking of Australia, F1 season kicks off this weekend, so I am super excited. I was watching the first practice live on Apple TV, so I was super excited about Apple taking over F1, the broadcasting of F1. Because I'm able to watch everything straight through my Apple TV now. But yeah, hopefully this shows you the future, shows you what's possible. If this is not your cup of tea, you don't want to get into doing that, feel free to reach out. We've created a whole different company dealing with that'll help you out with this stuff. I'll pop this in the chat for you as well. Reach out, pop the form. So let me drop this in the chat for you. Yeah, let's get a conversation started. So yeah, if you want help building this out, getting off WordPress, reach out. Happy to help. If you're interested in anything else, let me know. Again, happy to help. Hopefully you found this useful. We're painting the road to the future. So I'm going to be doing a lot more sessions like this. So if there's something you want to see on a Friday afternoon, or if this day doesn't work for you, I've got a lot more planned. I just have been moving all of our sites, busy doing that, busy building a lot of stuff over the last 60 days. I've got a lot more coming, a lot more to show. But hopefully this kind of helps you see what's possible. And anyway, that's it for me. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for watching on the replay if you're watching this. And I will see you on the next one.